when we think about an agent and the differentiation between an agent and what we are coding, right, kind of like if else or any other statement that we want to switch statement that we want to create, the idea that there is some control logic that we're giving to our program or our agent. And this is where our autonomy trade-offs comes into play. So you can see if it's completely autonomous, this is what we call an agent. And then there's variable flow. We don't know how our system is going to behave. It's harder to create unit tests. It's harder to create end-to-end testing. Versus the other part of if we're solely programming everything this specific application is going to do, then we have something called a fixed flow. And our goal is kind of find the middle ground in order for us to A, achieve the result that we want to achieve, B, leverage the fact that now agents can sometimes make decisions better than us because the landscape is changing, and C, make it in a way that is we can still have some ability to predict or know if the overall system is in good shape and kind of evaluate that whole experience later on. So what are the most critical components of an agent? And different people will say different things, but again, that's my perception of agents so far, is first of all, we have to have a scope. So we need to know exactly what we want this agent to do. Knowing exactly what we want it to do, it's going to give us the ability to create the right guardrails. So that sometimes is called also the agent core. Why is it here, right? Second thing is more the practical side. That's memory model. There are different types of memories that the agent will have to have. For example, short-term memory of what's the recent updates it got in, or long-term memory, for example, some feedback loop of information that the agent received before, and now it needs to rethink how it takes the next action. Third one, what makes an agent its agent is tools. Ability to call other services, ability to take an action, ability to reach out to a database and do things. These are the tools. And later on, there's also going to be talk about MCPs, so it's connect very closely to that. And lastly, there's going to be a planning module. The planning module makes decisions how to orchestrate the whole system. Because again, it's kind of like we're tapping into the autonomous world, right? So we want to make sure that the planning model is there and exists. So essentially, you can think about it as like a brain and some body, right? Some tools, some capabilities that needs to work together. So if we put it all together and we'll add a couple of more agents where each one of them has their own scope, roughly at a higher level, we'll end up with at least, minimum 3 different agents. One would be the controller, the one that orchestrates and sees everything that's happening in the system, has to have auditing mechanism, has to be able to reach out to all the agents. The second one will be the planner that makes build the plan, the original plan, and then iterate on that. And lastly, it's kind of our eval loop. So we'll need to have a judge. Now we can have multiple eval loops. One can be eval loop within an agent, so they're evaluating themselves. And then we'll have to have external eval loop that's kind of like the judge that evaluates the system, how the system works together, that we actually reach the result that we expected, and so on. And this is kind of like the building blocks of the multi-agent system. So now we're moving away from just one agent that acts on very specific scope, and we're moving into already a system of multiple agents that needs to coordinate and work together.